Hello, welcome. Thank you for checking out Hometown Stars. Here at Hometown Stars, our mission is to inspire current high schoolers in India to become great problem solvers. If you like our mission, please like, subscribe, and share to spread the word. Thank you. In this episode, you will meet Seth Rao. Seth grew up in Chennai and went to DAV School for his high school studies. I have known Seth for a long time. We studied different disciplines, but he and I went to IITBombay, and also both of us got PhDs from Illinois Tech in Chicago. We also share a similar philosophy on building broader knowledge and skills while being on the lookout for tackling a good problem to solve. Speaking of good problems, trustable data is one of the biggest problems of our times. Every organization in every industry, if not already, will rely on lots of the data to make strategic business decisions, right? Seth and his co-founder decided to tackle this a decade ago and has been leaders in this space. Watch Seth explain what they do and how they do it to build trust. Also, Seth is an avid soccer fan and a player. It is actually very rare to meet someone who is in sports, who is into sports, as well as a PhD. This sums up how multi-talented and cool Seth is. Kids, if you're watching, keep watching to see what advice he has for you. By the way, big shout out to DAV School in Chennai and go DAV School. All right, people, it is time. Time to talk to and look up to the star and be inspired. Without further ado, let's go meet the star.
Hey Krishna,
Hey Seth, how are you, man?
long time.
A long time.
I am well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Well, I'm in Seattle. You're still in Naperville.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, nice. Is that your
Where it
office in the
is,
back?
yeah.
Where is it located? Office.
We are completely virtual.
Okay.
I am actually in an office, which is in Naperville,
Okay.
but we have complete virtual, so all our employees are all over the place.
Yeah, that is the way to do it. I mean,
Yeah,
when you're building the company. Wow. So, are
true.
you still living in the Naperville area?
I am. I
Oh,
am.
okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. How do you like?
Did
How
you
do you pick
live
up?
in Naperville at some point?
No, I was in the Schaumburg area. All right.
Got it.
So, thank you for doing this. Welcome to the
Hmm.
show. Okay. And when I wanted to do this, you're one of the first people I thought of I should talk to. Okay. I know you do something amazing, and I knew about first Tiger a little bit, but not so much. But I thought, okay, you need to talk to this guy first. Okay. All right. So thank you for doing
Okay.
this. Welcome to the show.
Okay.
Okay. And as you know, I probably checked the website. Its essence is to connect with you to your own high school. The kids currently who are in high school see, hey, look at the Seth, and I don't know what they know you as back home there, but Gopi maybe, I don't know. So like,
Mhm.
see, if I work hard and do all the things, like I can be Seth one day or even more. So essentially inspire those kids to what they can do more, right? In terms of taking on problems and solving problems, which I think you are working on an interesting problem, which I think we should talk about. So let's get started. So tell me about what is that problem that you're passionately working on and why you're working on it.
Okay. So we solve, so let me take a step back, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So um, I am trained as an engineer and I run a startup in the machine learning space. And the problem that we solve is very interesting for many companies. Uh, they are always stuck answering the question, we have a lot of data. Can I trust the data? Is the data usable? Because every company today is in some way a data company. Whether you're in retail, that means you better understand your data really well so you can understand your customers. If you're in a bank, and you better understand your data really well so you can understand your transactions, you can understand your customers' behaviors. If you're in pharma, it's the same thing. So no matter what business you're in data business. Therefore, it's vitally important that the data, which has now become your new lifeblood of the organization, is reliable and it is trustable. Now, validating the trustability of data is an extremely complex problem. And we have taken that problem and we have put machine learning and artificial intelligence, and we have solved it very elegantly. So people don't have to worry about the trustability of data. So our software, DataBuck, solves that problem with just a few clicks.
I see. Okay. So now, okay, tell me a little bit more. So like, how do you do that with ML or AI? How are you doing that? Just get asking. Don't be too technical. This is for high school kids. So see if you can put it down simple words.
Yeah. So it is all basically mathematics at a very basic level, right? Machine learning is just a fancy way of saying there's a lot of math behind it. So our software looks at a table. So you can think of a simple Excel spreadsheet as a table of data. It contains rows and columns. And the software looks for mathematical relationships between the different columns. And there are a lot of mathematical relationships that can be there. For example, it could be, let's say it's a bank, and this table contains all the loans that they have given out to their customers. So there will be a column which says the amount of loan borrowed is, so much, 100 rupees or $100. And the interest rate is 5%. And therefore the interest to be paid is $5. So now there's a relationship between these three columns. And like this, there are multiple relationships that exist within the table. So we use fundamental mathematics to dig deep into the table and look for all kinds of relationships that exist. And we discover those. We use those to create a fingerprint of that table's behavior. And we use that fingerprint to validate if the data is trustable. If it is a $100 loan with a 5% interest, but the interest you're paying for that year is $4 or $8, then clearly something is wrong. Now, without anybody having to tell the software what those relationships are, the software will auto-discover those. So fundamentally, it is the application of mathematical principles to solving real-life problems.
Oh, this is very good. This is very good. So now, is it possible to extend this to the scenarios where you do not know explicit relationships? What kind of scenarios do exist like that?
Perfect. That's a great question. And that is exactly our specialty.
Okay.
So
Wow.
with our software, we don't need to tell the software whether the data is a bank loan data, or is it a sales data from a store, or is it a healthcare data, or whatever it is, or whether it is insurance data, right? We don't have to tell the software anything. Mathematics is very powerful. It looks into the data and it automatically discovers all the hidden relationships.
All the associations, yeah.
Everything. So it is completely agnostic. It is independent of what data it is and what's the industry it came from.
Okay. So that means the AI/ML gives you that, and as a human, you judge on top what could be working, what is not working, because it doesn't know what is right or wrong. It just says these associations.
Yeah. You're very correct.
Okay, thank you.
Actually don't, the software discovers mathematical patterns.
Right.
Not all the mathematical patterns will be useful or relevant or are they worth tracking over time? Right? So, for example, if the software scans me and says, this is a human and this is how a human looks like, is it important that the human always have 5 fingers? Maybe not. So the software would have looked at all the humans and said, looks like a majority of them have 5 fingers. Now, is that an important prerequisite for the next object to be classified as human? Not necessarily, right? So the user can always give guidance to the software on what is important and what is not. And even if the guidance is not there, the software would have automatically discovered these things. It would definitely know for a fact that humans don't have tails, or humans don't have horns, right? So the user does not have to give very precise description of what is correct and what is wrong. Machine learning uses fundamental mathematical principles to figure that out automatically, which can be fine-tuned by the user.
So now, I guess if the kid wants to learn more about data, trust, all these issues around it, so what do you recommend they start with? Where should they go? First, of course, firstigen.com.
Yes, no. You should always, firstigen.com is a great place to start. You'll see what we are doing. And there are links to literature on our website, of course.
Very good.
To go into machine learning, it is fundamental. It's fundamental to have a good understanding of mathematics, right? At a very basic level, you need programming. Programming skills are different from mathematical skills. You can be a good programmer, but not necessarily a good mathematician.
Sure.
Now, when you go into AI, ML, and data science, you now need to start having good basic mathematical skills. The better you are in math, the greater is your ability to contribute to higher level developments. If your skill is simply in learning how to write a Python program or a SQL statement, you will be doing much lower level jobs. So for people aspiring, make sure you're good at not just programming, but also math and also science, because science is nothing but an application of mathematics. So the more you do math and science, you're sharpening your mathematical skills. And all of them will ultimately contribute to, being a better at machine learning and artificial intelligence.
Okay. I think that's a good advice. Very good. That's a good foundation, right? Okay. Let's talk about a little bit about how, after you left the college bachelor's and to this day, let's briefly touch upon what are the key highlights, what brought you to this point. Key highlights. I know you can talk for hours, but
Yeah. Key highlights, right?
How did you end up with this day's first Igen?
Yes. So I used to sail a lot when I was younger. And Lake Michigan is a great place to go sailing in a sailboat. It's not a powered boat, but it's a sailboat. So you're essentially using the wind.
Very cool. I didn't know.
And
Cool.
We have a saying in the sailor community, the shortest distance to any point is not a straight line. It is always a zigzag, because you don't know where the wind is blowing. You know where you want to go, but the wind ultimately decides how soon you can get there. So that is something worth remembering for everybody.
I guess what you're trying to say is not straight and simple.
It is not.
Yeah.
It is rarely straight and simple.
Yeah.
And my own life is a good example of that. So after I finished my college engineering, I came to the US. I did my PhD. And after PhD, I completely took my first tack, my first turn. I went into consulting management consulting. So my PhD was in the area of nanotechnology. And from nanotechnology, I went into advising C-level executives on how to run companies, which is a huge difference. What people were looking for was somebody who is a good thinker, who's able to look at lots of different data points and understand the cohesive story and be able to advise. I got bored with that and I said, I want to go back to doing research. I want to use my PhD. So I made another huge 90-degree turn. And then I came to doing R&D, and I did product development using my PhD skills. And along the way, I also got a degree in business. I had an MBA. And then after R&D, I went into doing mergers and acquisitions. So I was working for a company and I was helping them acquire other companies. And from there, I went into finance and then into marketing. So I got a very good view of the foundations of how companies work. And then I was
just going to say, it looks like you're building the foundation to run your own company.
Yeah. See, it's zigzag, right? It was never planned that way, right? Then I ran a 3D printing business. And then I sort of, after that, I made, so all these are multiple 90-degree turns going zigzag, right? And then I was working for another company as a corporate VC, investing in other startups. So at that point, I decided I should be running my own startup rather than funding other startups. And I started First Tiger. So that's a
roundabout. How did you land on Data Trust?
Right.
Yeah. How did you land on Data Trust then?
Yes. So I co-founded First Tiger, and my co-founder has a lot of experience in validating data. And I have a lot of experience in both the business side and also the machine learning and the analytics side. So together, we saw a very interesting opportunity that at that point in time, there was nobody in the market who was trying to solve this problem. It was being solved in a very laborious, time-consuming, and error-prone way. And we took machine learning and put it on top of that and accelerated the whole process. If you look out for opportunities, you'll always find something.
Wow, this is very good. All right, are you ready? Let's jump back in time. Let's go to your hometown and the high school time. Let's talk about where was that, which high school. Tell me a little bit about how that lifetime, how was life around that time? All the fun things you did during the high school. So that can say, hey, I was in this street, I did this, I did that thing. They can relate to that. Let's see. What do you have?
Right. So I grew up in Chennai for a big chunk of my life. Earlier, I was in the north of India. In Chennai, my high school was DAV, our secondary school. It was a great place.
What is it? What is the name of it?
DAV, Dayanand Aryavedic. So it's one of the best schools in Chennai at that time, and it still continues to be. So the friends that I made then, I am still in touch with after decades. Great group of guys. And when I was in school, when I was a kid, I was interested in so many things other than studying. I played a lot. So I used to play basketball, soccer, tennis, and I used to swim a lot as well.
Okay, lots of sports too.
Yeah. And many of these continued with me when I went to IITBombay. So I used to swim for IITBombay, and I used to at times play soccer for IITBombay as well. So sports was a big part of my life, and I didn't study much. I rarely studied. So it was a fun time. When you're a kid, you should enjoy a lot because life goes fast, and You
I
wake
know,
up
I
and
know.
you realize life has gone by. So
Mhm.
my advice to the younger generation is have a good balance. It's not just about studies constantly. Um, do things that you like.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
the ability to do multiple things is very, very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just doing one thing is good, but you know, you want to have a balance as well.
Good, good, good. So any fond memories, any shout outs to teachers, anything you want to do? High school?
High school, there's always I have to say my principal in high school was a big influence on me. A very stern and strict man called Ram Kalia. Um, and he, when you're in high school and you look at your principal, you don't have the warmest feelings, and you're usually very scared. But when you graduate, you realize the impact your teachers have had on you. So my mathematics teacher, my English, my chemistry teacher, all of them had a great impact on me, and I have the highest respect for all of them. Even to this day, I think of them very fondly.
Mhm.
They made sure we worked hard, we learned well when we graduated from high school, so that we could do something with our lives. And I'm extremely thankful to them. In a large part, I am who I am today because of my teachers and also my parents.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Anything naughty stuff you did you would like to share?
I was a very good kid.
Very good kid. That's a good answer.
Very
Yes.
good kid. Except if you ask my mom, she will disagree with me.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah,
All right.
so
Okay. All right. So I guess you got kind of touched upon the advice part already. So what would you say to the kids who are right now in high school? And if they say, okay, data trust seems very nowadays tech bar is so good, anybody can get into lots of areas. So let's say somebody say, oh, data trust, I am into AI, I kind of know, and I see that data trust, data issues are coming up. So maybe I can learn about it. So what would advise for them to think and look at to grow in this direction already, start working on this direction? High school kids.
so so I would broaden your question slightly.
Yeah, sure.
Uh, so the opportunities in front of us are wide.
Mhm.
It's not just data trustability.
Mhm.
It is now the biggest thing is generative AI,
Yeah,
chat GPT and
yeah,
so on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So technology is evolving very rapidly, especially artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
And that evolution by itself is opening up a lot many more opportunities.
Mhm.
So I think my advice to the kids is be at the cutting edge for sure. Make sure your foundations are good
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
and learn the new things constantly, right?
Mhm.
And there are some fundamental character traits. So no matter what the new evolution is, today it is chat GPT. A few years ago it was something else. It was big data and so on. So the technology will always evolve. You have to be very relevant no matter where the technology is. So what is it that will make you as a student or high school student today successful? I My advice is I'm going to quote my principal from DAV. Um, he always used to say, there is no shortcut to success. It's only through sheer hard work.
Mhm.
Nothing is going to fall on your lap. You will have to work for everything.
Yeah.
And so that's a fundamental character trait. And the second thing I believe in is dreams don't build empires, dragons do. So set high dreams and go be a dragon. Go get it. So focusing on a technology is okay. But make sure you have the right character traits, which are the foundational building blocks of no matter what you do. Doesn't have to be artificial intelligence. You could be a great musician. You could be an artist. You could be whatever it is, but have the fundamental character traits. Focus on building those.
Wow, this is very good. This is very good, very good advice for anybody to do, actually. Very good advice. Yeah, thank you. If I touched upon the fun stuff already, what are you doing for fun nowadays? I know you're very busy doing lots of interviews, lots of places going, but what do you do for fun right now?
I play a lot of soccer, or at least I'd like to play a lot of soccer. I don't get to play as much.
Okay.
And yeah, so
okay,
that's my.
All right, man. Seth, this is wonderful. Okay, I'll shoot an email later to do the challenges part later. Okay, and thanks so much for doing this again. Thanks, buddy. Thanks so much.
Sounds like fun. All right, take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Folks, remember to look up to the stars and be inspired. Now, go tackle a problem worth solving. #Provoso. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.